shocking. It is shameful. There are no words to see a parade like a Macy's Day parade of Indira Gandhi with blood and the Khalistani bodyguard of hers that shot and killed her. I mean, this is an Indian Prime Minister, former Indian Prime Minister. Canada seems to forget that Khalistani terrorism has already played a role in its own country. Hi, welcome to The Overcorrection. Today I want to talk about a story that angered me deeply. Recently, the Canadian Parliament observed a minute of silence for a man named Hardeep Singh Nijjar. Now, who is Hardeep Nijjar? To Indians and to me, he's a Khalistani terrorist. Although he is lovingly labeled as a passionate plumber, a gentleman, and a Khalistani activist by many Khalistani sympathizers and their useful idiots around the world, the truth is that he was a dangerous person espousing a very dangerous ideology. This is a man who was a Babar Khalsa international operative who joined the Khalistani Tiger Force. He's been accused of traveling to Pakistan for meetings with the ISI on how to further destabilize India in pursuit of their Khalistani cause. He has been accused of arms training in Canada, things like AK-47s, pistols amongst the youth to take up arms for Khalistan. He's sent people to target Shiv Sena leaders in India, as well as VIPs. Multiple FIRs have been lodged against him. And he's also been booked under the UAPA Act and is officially a terrorist. Intelligence agencies have even accused Nijjar and his mentees of killing a Hindu priest in the past and of even attempts at extortion. Now, as far as India is considered, as I've said, this man is a terrorist. But what makes things really shocking and sad is that the Canadian Parliament would hold a minute of silence for this man. Now, why the minute of silence? About a year ago, he was assassinated in Canada. And this created a huge political and diplomatic firestorm between India and Canada because the head of state of Canada, Justin Trudeau, accused India and its intelligence agency, RNAW, of carrying out this assassination on Canadian territory. Now, a year since, there is yet to be any concrete evidence of India's involvement. And they've even said that they're open to the investigation as per Canada's due process. But to then go and in your parliament hold a minute of silence for a man who in India is by all intents and purposes a terrorist is a shameful act. And it puts an unnecessary strain on Indian diplomacy between India and Canada, two countries that ideally should be getting along, given the massive economic opportunity, large-scale immigration between the two countries, and common beliefs in democracy and rule of law. And now, the reason why it angered me even more is that this has shown a greater space in Ottawa, in Canada, for a very dangerous ideology, which is the Khalistani ideology, a separatist ideology that in India, in years past, has ripped states like Punjab to the core. It has resulted in large-scale stagnation, disenfranchisement of its youth who've been caught up in this idea. This separatism has done a tremendous amount of harm to India. We know what it's like to deal with a toxic ideology like this, and it's scary to see this ideology picking up ground in Canada. And they don't realize the door that they're opening a very dangerous Pandora's box. There have been recent parades in Canada where they have had a skit that has glorified the assassination of an Indian Prime Minister, of Indira Gandhi. I mean, it is shocking. It is shameful. There are no words to see a parade like a Macy's Day parade of Indira Gandhi with blood and the Khalistani bodyguard of hers that shot and killed her. I mean, this is an Indian Prime Minister, former Indian Prime Minister. There has to be some level of shame. And Canada really needs to introspect on what it means for India-Canada relations when they are giving space to this ideology that has caused so much pain and trauma for hundreds, if not millions, in India. Canada seems to forget that Khalistani terrorism has already played a role in its own country. the worst incident of terror in Canadian history was this Kaneshka bombing, right? And in fact, before 9/11, it was the worst act of terrorism in the air, where a flight was bombed, 329 lives were lost, of which 86 of those were children. And this is the outcome of a very dangerous ideology that was running loose. So learn from those acts of violence, see the danger that this ideology plays, and shut it down in Canada before it's too late. And I see it popping up in Australia too. And we don't want it to come back in India, although even in our recent elections, people like Amritpal Singh, who are open Khalistani separatists, have seemed to have won a mandate. So this, I hope and I pray that this dangerous ideology is not making a comeback, because it bodes for very, very scary times ahead. And we should all be safe in the knowledge that the government and the intelligence agencies are working night and day to prevent dangerous acts of terrorism happening on our soil. Thank you.